Hi there, my name is Miss Haralabidis, and in this video, we'll talk about the experimental probability. To begin with, allow me to shortly give you a definition. The experimental probability is basically a type of probability that is based on actual data from an experiment or observation. It is often sometimes called empirical probability as well. To find the experimental probability of an event, you would only need to conduct a series of trials or experiments and count the number of times that event occurred. Then you would need to divide the number of times the event occurred by the total number of trials or experiments conducted. For example, let us suppose that we flipped a coin 100 times and recorded the results. Assuming that the coin landed on heads 45 times and tails 55 times respectively, the experimental probability of getting heads would have been 45 out of 100, while the experimental probability of getting tails would have been 55 over 100 respectively. We know, however, that if we compare the experimental probability with the theoretical probability we saw in one of my previous videos, that both probability of landing heads and tails should have been 50%. So you can clearly see that there is a difference between the experimental probability and the theoretical probability. Well, why is that difference? It is mainly because in the theoretical probability, we defined it as a specific ratio, as the ratio of the cardinality of that event over the cardinality of the universal set, while on experimental probability, we define it based on the observations taken. The experimental probability is often used in situations where it is not possible to determine the theoretical probability of an event, such as, for example, in real-world scenarios, or when dealing with more complex systems. However, keep in mind that as the number of trials or experiments increases, the experimental probability should approach the theoretical probability, assuming always that the conditions of the experiment or the observation are consistent. And that would be all from now. I hope I made it clear for you to understand the difference between experimental, what is experimental probability and its difference from the theoretical. But if, however, you feel that you have issues, you feel that you didn't understand anything, you are more than welcome to leave your comment below the video. As always, thank you for your time.